Thank you, band. All right. Good morning, everyone. Yeah, they're pretty good. Good morning, everyone. And, you know, there's a tendency, the way we live, to get involved in routines. And we get in the routine, we're almost oblivious about what's going on in life around us. About a week ago, we haven't seen a bear up at our house for ever. Usually they come in June, and then we know that they're going to come up every now and then on the deck and eat the seeds we put out for the birds and stuff like that. So, but we hadn't had any bears all the way up until the middle of July, but last week. So Norma's taking the birds, a cupful of seeds, out to the deck railing where she puts in the feeders for the birds. And she walks out to the deck to put them in and looks up, and right beside her is a 300-pound black bear. She drops the seeds, flies back inside. And that bear had two little cubs that were with it. And it was just beautiful to watch them. They're amazing and wonderful. But anyway, so don't get caught up in routines, because sometimes it'll throw you a little curve. All right, is there anybody here from another unity? Another unity anywhere? Okay. Anybody here for the first time? If you're here for the first time, keep your hand up. We have a gift for you. Back there, wherever else. Oh, down here. We have somebody here for the first time, all the way down here. Take the walk. Come on down, all the way down here. All right, great. Yeah. No, down here. Well, are you here for the first time also? If you don't know if you're here for the first time, check your cell phone. It'll probably tell you that you're here for the first time. Okay. Look at this. Come on now. See, the reason why we give you this gift, which is a new Lexus, keys to a new Lexus parked in the parking lot. All right, see what you almost missed. You're going to love this talk coming up. Look forward to it.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Unity of Boulder. Those of you who are joining us here in person and those of you who are joining us online, we love spending some time with you every Sunday, so thank you very much. Got a few announcements of upcoming events here at Unity of Boulder. We've got some really fun ones coming up that we're really excited about. Actually an international musician named, has anyone here ever heard of Syntsyche Carr? No? You own all her CDs. Syntsyche Carr is going to be coming here in September. She's going to be here on the 22nd and 23rd. She's doing 2 shows in this room. You can get tickets for it on our website. They range from anywhere from $35 to $95, depending on which seat in the house. This is a big, huge act. We're very excited to have this musician back here. We haven't had her in probably 8 years, so we're real excited about that. Another really fun one coming here. It's titled Whispers to Heaven. This is a psychic medium coming here from Scotland. His name is Dominic Bogue. If you can check out him on YouTube, he's amazing. We're so excited to have him. He's coming actually August 4th, and that'll be from 7 to 9, and you can get tickets, well, you can get a link to tickets on our website for both these events, and his event is $35. So definitely check that out. It's just a good, fun event. Syntsyche is finally going to restart up her prosperity class. She has not taught one since before COVID started, and we're bringing it back. It's going to start Tuesday, September 5th. This is her favorite class to teach. This is absolutely her speciality. It's a 5-week class. It starts Tuesday, September 5th. It goes from 6:30 to 8:30. Sign up for it is $100, And you can get the book, the prosperity book she's going to be teaching from, in our bookstore for $16. So you can register for that in the bookstore, online, over the phone, or the first night of. We prefer you to sign up early because it helps Syntsyche plan for it, to know how many people are coming. So definitely check that out. That is her favorite class to teach, and she definitely teaches it with absolute vigor. So check that out. And last but not least, right now we are currently in the middle of voting season for Best of Boulder with the Daily Camera. You can, right on our homepage of our website, you can see a link to click to it, to go in and vote. Please, it's one of those things that really helps Unity of Boulder out and get our name out there. So other people can find us, go, oh, who's the best in Boulder? Oh, Unity of Boulder, I'm gonna go check them out. So please, go on there, take a few minutes to do that. It really helps out Unity of Boulder. All right, thank you very much.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Unity this morning. This is the moment in our service where we do a call for prayer. For those of you that are experiencing a challenge, we have prayer sheets in your pew right in front of you. You can write your own name, or you can write a prayer for somebody else, and then Lisa from our prayer team will collect them. She'll walk down this middle aisle, and then she'll bring them to the main prayer box where they'll be prayed over for 30 days, and every evening with our prayer partners, and then they'll be sent off to Silent Unity and prayed over for an additional 30 days. But we always know that to sing is to pray twice, so we encourage you to sing with us. And let's just start our service by calling Spirit into this room. We know it's within us, that we move it out, and we're going to start this collective, omnipresent energy here and now. You are the air I breathe. You are the air I breathe. Your holy presence living Beautiful way to start. All right, let's welcome out Marcy Baruch, the greatest singer in Boulder, Colorado.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. I'm so grateful for all of you and for these musicians and for the opportunity to come into a place of thankfulness. This song is called Grace and Gratitude.
And all I feel is all
I thank you.
Thank you. Love you. Good morning. Nice to see all your smiling faces and all the bright colors you're all wearing today. So I'm doing a continuation of the sermon I gave last week titled A Soul Knowing. I want to take it into a little bit of a deeper experience today. I tend to write my sermons from the collaborations I have with others, with people that visit in the bookstore or at NIA classes or in a counseling session. And there's been this current, like last week I said, astrologically things were going to get better. And a lot of the things we've learned over the last 3 years are going to unfold now in a positive way. All of the intentions that we have put out to the universe are going to now find a life in us, in our life. And but the work isn't completely over. We still have more years to go. It's just that we're going to get a little reprieve, so I hope you all felt a little reprieve this week astrologically. But I thought I would talk about a seer that preceded us that has had the biggest impact on my life, and his name is Edgar Cayce. And the reason why I'm going to talk about Edgar Cayce, I'm going to talk about what Unity of Boulder is. I think we have to start there, because we've been thinking about that, because people will say, I don't know how to explain what Unity is to others, to invite them in. Because we've been talking to you about sharing with your friends about this wonderful community that's happening, and yet it's so many things, right, that it's hard to narrow down what it is. And so we've been collaborating, and this is the picture that we want you to be able to have, and we'll give it to you to be able to share with others. And it goes like this. Unity of Boulder Spiritual Center facilitates the modern day quest for personal transformation. Unity's fully diversified programs include Sunday services, weekly classes, meditation, gatherings, and discussion groups, using the inspired writings and teachings of enlightened people of every history period. Unity acknowledges God as the omnipresent, creative, healing source within each and every person. Now repeat after me. You got it? Cool, we got it, right? So we narrowed it down. But we got okay, we gotta get like one little affirmation. But the point being is that we study all of the seers that preceded us. It's not just Jesus, right? So people say, is Unity Christian? Unity is only Christian in the way that we follow the teachings of Jesus that came from his mouth. That's what Unity is. So we also follow Buddha's teachings in meditation and beingness and in the presence, right? We follow people that showed us as way showers how we can work the miraculous in this world and really lean into the magic that we actually are in expression. So Edgar Cayce, for me, has been a part of my entire childhood. He is the most documented and proven psychic that actually lived in the last 100 years. He's considered the sleeping prophet. And he didn't know he had this ability until at one point his child got hurt and actually had something blow up in the child's face, and the child was blind. And in his sleep, his wife heard him start talking about going to this certain mountain to find these certain herbs to put as poultices on his eyes. For 30 days, she wrote it all down. They went in the woods, they got them, and the child regained all of his sight. So that was how it was discovered, all right? And so then they realized that in his sleep, he was sharing all sorts of truths about healing, about reincarnation, about souls, about how our souls travel and how they intermingle and how there is a divine purpose and plan for every life, and life does not end in death, that we are spiritual beings having a human experience. And it doesn't end. What we're educating ourselves is in the part of us that lives forever and eternally. That's what Unity really wants us to press into, is that there's a knowledge that you were born with and as, to bring about an experience this lifetime, where you will learn the language, you will learn the signs and symbols that shows to you that you are in direct connection with this greater something we call Source, Spirit, God, whatever word makes you feel connected to this divine presence. So if I use the word God, replace it with a word that feels holy and whole for you, right? So he's considered the sleeping prophet, and these are some of the words that he wrote about us. He said, "We are co-creators with the divine. Perhaps more than any other idea, the statement gets to the heart of the Edgar Cayce information on the power of the human soul. However, even when we come across this concept in the Edgar Cayce readings, we may simply say the words rather than come to a full realization of their meaning. We may also believe that this co-creative ability is something far off, perhaps something that will be ours when we reach perfection. Cayce says we are not physical bodies with souls, but are instead spiritual beings having a physical experience. We are spiritual beings who have forgotten our true nature and are not always living up to the very best we have within us. Instead, we generally identify with our physical lives and our earthly experiences and forget why we even came into the earth in the first place. Simply stated, we came into the earth to somehow bring spirit here." So I've been having a week of talking with a mother that lost her child in the last 4 months, and we're preparing a memorial, and we're discussing how that was going to come about. And we weren't meeting of the minds and soul. We couldn't quite find, she didn't really know what she wanted, I didn't really know how she wanted me to participate, and it was all through text in this grieving process. And then, while I'm texting, my ear is just ringing beyond belief, beyond. And I'm trying to connect with, is this my spirit guide? Is this child that we're referring to? Is it? And then the next thing that she texted was in full validation that this was her son connecting through this conversation that we're having. And I cried and I cried and I cried, because when you've been on this path, and if you've lost a child, which I have, and I've lost a lot of people in life, and thank God I know that this is true, that the soul moves on and the physical is not the most important thing, even though we do miss them in the physical massively. It's when there's that resonance, when you learn the signs and symbols that Spirit is communicating through you as you, right? And it hits you like a punch, like the best punch you've ever had in your life. It's a sense of knowing your divinity with this greater something, and that you're having direct communication with something that the world wants you to believe is not possible. The world wants to make you become more of robots that just follow each other aimlessly and blindly. But as we step into this kind of consciousness, we become of the utmost essence as being called for what is needed in this world at this time. And it's a big responsibility. It's a big task for us to take on, and it's wonderful. So when you have those moments where you're like, was that a synchronicity? Or was that a coincidence? It's a synchronicity, right? Like when we change the view of how we are looking through a lens of spirit, you as spirit in this world, we become intuitive in a way that it comes through a feeling. It comes through ringing of the ears. It comes through signs of birds. For me, birds are big, speaking to me. I love looking at animal totems and why this animal crossed my path, to explain to me what is going on and why I'm feeling lost in whatever area of my life. I use spirit to show me what is next. And that's why I stand up here, because I'm so excited about this. I've always been so excited about this because I grew up a very intuitive person by nature. Everybody has. Nobody's special. Edgar Cayce's not even special. He just happened to have tapped into it, I think, by accident. This was a Christian man that taught Sunday school his entire life, and read the Bible all the way through every year of his life. So he was a Christian in the biggest way. And to be being the most documented psychic really doesn't fit into that world, right? So the universe said, you're going to have to step out of your comfort zones. You have to be willing to examine that you have this gift that God gave you. And if you hold it tight, you're not going to share it with others and heal and save so many lives by what would come through him. We do have books available on Edgar Cayce. They're on the counter in the bookstore. If anybody's facing a challenge with loss, with health, with all the questions of life and why we're here, they're available in the bookstore today. So some might say that our goal is to get to heaven. Others might phrase the goal as reaching perfection or high consciousness, so that we can get out of the world. Yet both of these goals look at our heritage from a perspective quite different than that contained in the Edgar Cayce readings. In fact, the readings confirm that God desires to be expressed in the world through each of us. Our job is to somehow bring heaven or divinity into the earth. The example set by Jesus, our brother and teacher, demonstrated the way to realize our Christ consciousness and invited us to join him in it. Jesus being a pattern for every soul, that is why we are here. Our goal is to bring the very best we can think of into full manifestation in our lives and in our relationships with others. That is the ultimate power and destiny of the soul. And so I decided I'd share this week because yesterday I had that ringing moment, and the tears weren't sadness. The tears are just, I remember this place. It's like a soul knowing that we're divinely connected and directed, that we came in with from many lifetimes. And that's when you really know it's spirit. Like there's this, oh, everything's okay. No matter what we're going through, no matter what challenge we're going through, challenges are our teachers. The hardships that we go through, the more we're having, tends to mean that you're probably an older soul and you're here to even conquer and connect with more and more of the possibilities and the light that you are to be projected in this world, right? So when I lost my son, and I needed to get out of town because everybody had watched me be pregnant with him and watched the whole process, and then they were grieving and were looking to me to help them with their grieving of my son. That's just what happens. And it's a strange thing, and I think if people have lost kids, it's very strange. But people look for us to help them through our loss. Do we have any moms that have gone through that have lost a child? It's very weird, and it happens. So thank you for sharing your truth. So I knew I had to get out of Dodge. I had to get away. I needed to get near my brothers. I needed to get near my close family and just be with them for a week or two. And before I left town, I came into the bookstore here, and I went into the book room thinking, I got to read something. I'm flailing. I was a fish out of water. And I walked into the book room, and a book fell off the shelf onto the ground. And my middle name is Cayce. After Edgar Cayce, my parents gave me that name this lifetime, which I don't think there's any coincidence either. But that was the beginning of my journey with his work. I read that book and literally felt healing happening every single page because I understood it. I was already experiencing the signs and symbols. I was starting to realize that I have a direct connection with this boy. And though I want the physical interaction, I can learn the language that I will have forever. Edgar Cayce says it this way: "For you are as corpuscle in the body of God, thus a co-creator with him." And use her. I don't want to translate it all, but you can do him, her, creator, whatever. "In what ye think, in what ye do. And ye change each soul ye contact," literally or mentally. No soul may come in contact with the entity without being changed, either in body, in mind, or in purpose. No soul may come in contact with spirit, with the entity, without being changed, either in body, in mind, or in purpose. And I feel like he's referring to right here is when we have the big changes, which are usually disturbances, usually a absolute recognition that we're living limited in our consciousness and we're living small because fear is stopping us literally in our tracks and we're not moving into what is called for the next steps. And we have to change. We have to be changed. And we talk about the Phoenix process. Sometimes that's when it's called into the situation, or everything's taken from us on the physical, on the financial level, and you've lost houses, right? It's the big ones. And unfortunately, after COVID and during COVID, I think that all of us have lost more than we're really able to handle. And it's all different things. But we've all been basically just stripped down to the rawest form of who we are. And as painful as that is, that also shows that we're ready to have that divine entity enter our lives. We're raw, we're naked, we're aware that things can leave us in the physical world. So what are we going to build on beyond that so that we can step into this world as a light bearer, as one that can help others find the light bearer within them? Right? Obviously, we have to grieve the tough stuff, and that's a big part of it. But ultimately, it's about using these difficult things in life to be a teacher for soul growth. And it's not necessarily that you're growing the soul, you're actually just opening up to that which you already know. It's actually opening up to your memory of the mastery that you have been so many lifetimes. And if you're running to things like shopping or substances or things of this nature to try to block and protect this vulnerable place, then you're just going to slow down the process, right? Can we sit in this vulnerable place and recognize that this is where the entity, the spiritual, the beingness, the Allah, the Buddha, visits and sits and builds up that which you already are to remind you that you are loved. You are needed, you are wanted, and you are necessary. You, as a collective, are the light for the world. You, as a collective, are the second coming of this Christ that these Christian places are saying are coming. You are that second coming. It's the Christ consciousness. No responsibility in that, right? Right? Somehow that didn't look right. Oh, that's why. No, something's missing right there. Okay. Charles Fillmore, the co-founder of the Unity Movement, which he founded it with Myrtle Fillmore, which they had never planned on being leaders or respected as far as a guru or of some kind. They were people that studied all of the religions and studied where they all agreed. Where do they all agree, right? That was really their work. And it was meant to be a school where people could go to their Catholic church. They could go to their synagogue. They could go to whatever religion they went to in the morning, and then they gathered in people's homes, and Unity was looking at the materials that they had been taught in the morning at their churches and synagogues and whatever else, to break down metaphysically, because we can look at the history of the Bible and we can look at the history of all these great books, but in the end, how does that apply to you? How does that apply to you in 2023 in whatever situation you are in? We learned how to break down metaphysically, to look at these teachings that were from, some of them 3,000 years ago, 2,000 years ago. How does it apply to me and this job problem I'm having, or my marriage, or my children that I'm having trouble with, or whatever the circumstance is? But then in the end, people decided they wanted Unity to be a spiritual center that they could go to, because they wanted to hear where they all agreed and not be coming from separate places and having to find a way to get along in all of it, because it would create a lot of discord in conversation. So in the end, it became a spiritual practice. So Charles Fillmore, the co-founder of Unity, wrote, "God is all good, always love. Spirit never changes, no matter what we do or may have done. Spirit is always trying to pour more of itself through us into visibility. God is all good, always love." So when we look at it that way, when we realize that there's challenges in this world, and that's part of it, they say to be in the world, but not of the world. Right? That's where we are part of this channeling of the spiritual good, regardless of what's going on in the outer world. That's why people that are in that meditative mode that you meet, these gurus that are teachers, and they have those soft eyes, and they don't talk that much, and they just receive your love, and all they are is love. Kind of like Jack, my dad. He's there. He has no attachments. He's just peace. He's like, it's all cool, man. He's just there. He's lived this to watch it. He doesn't have any small kids at home. He certainly doesn't have 2 teenagers at home like I do. You know, all of the things that normal life does. He meditates, and he can meditate whenever he wants to. And you know what? It shows. He is the radiating center of love. And you meet people like that, right? Because they're in the world, but not of the world. They have found this eternal peace, this eternal life. They are now the conduits for this in the world. They just hold space of this gorgeous love. And I think that's a goal for me, and I'm sure for many of us. So if you are feeling good, this is basically saying you're not feeling God. There's something that is affecting and limiting your own mind, your streams of consciousness that is blocking this good. When I think about all the many ways we can connect with something higher in consciousness, like through prayer, ceremony, chanting, singing bowls, honoring the 4 corners of the earth before meditating, as the Native Americans always do, or following the stars, and honoring the elemental aspects of the earth, water, air, and fire. Burning ceremonial smells like incense, sage, Palo Santo. The list goes on and on. Listening to music, holy, spiritual-led sounds that lift the heart from a hollow sense of disconnection to a deep connection of oneness and divinity. There are so many things we can do every single day to come back to the being. We don't want to be human doings. We want to be human beings. That is the goal. And if we keep losing our peace and we're losing our footing in life, we can always come back to burning something, listening to music. Spirit is just right here all the time. It's right here. When you realize that you're feeling really off and you're feeling really disconnected and you really feel like, notice that it's all coming from here. Always has been and always will be. But here, this is where our soul truth lives. This is where we can access direct communication with all that have lived now, beyond, and who have left us as well. See, I understand how someone could feel very disconnected in this world. It can seem extremely divided, a planet that is struggling greatly, a war that makes no sense to all, and an overwhelming temperature of a world that seems to be making more and more mistakes, where it's hard to see where good and courageous changes could take place, even with the struggles in our life, to bring it all back into balance and harmony within itself. I understand that. And I don't have the news in my house anymore. I don't have any aspect to touch in with all of the crime and the world and all of it. You know, I get glimpses because I have friends and they'll tell me, you know, when it's time to check in and what's happening in the world. But I want my peace to surpass understanding. I've chosen that if I have chosen to answer the call of being a spiritual daughter of Spirit, then I have to make first this spiritual life, this spiritual peace. It's the only way, if we collectively can find this light and this peace, that we are going to see the changes that this list of things that we're worried about can happen. We have to believe it's possible. And that's faith. You have to believe what I'm saying right now is true. But the belief isn't enough. You have to take it into your own heart and say, does this resonate with me? Does this resonate with me? And if it doesn't, then find another path, because all paths that lead to God are glorious. I'm not here to differentiate between any of them. I don't want any more wars between religion and spirituality. Whatever lights your heart up to feel the divinity of this love is all I want for everyone. So the answer is that we have to bring it back into harmony within ourselves. Peace within oneself first, before we will ever see the outer reflection of that collective peace and divine consciousness to prevail on earth. It has to happen within us, with all the challenges that we're facing, right? That's the ultimate, because it's in the changes. And it's when we're probably feeling the most down that we actually have to step in and, okay, how much down do we have to experience to go, okay, God, what is it that you're asking of me? And it's when we finally do that, or we finally kneel and we pray and say, please, God, help me, that the floodgates open. And the download of Spirit sharing with you how incredibly beautiful, how wonderful you are always been needed, and how you have been called and sung into life, and that universe is going to support you as moving forward as being this divine directive of this all-knowing oneness. We've all heard that for many, many years, the prophecies have told us that there's going to come a time where people are going to make it through into the new consciousness. And some of us are not. And what I see now, and what is important, is that we walk through and don't get pulled back into the old days and old ways. We've been talking about this now for weeks. We've been all trying to go at that door that's been shut during COVID or during this difficulty that we've been going through. And we're like, please open again. It's all I know. This is where my prosperity came from. This is where the love came. And it won't open. And if we keep trying to do the same thing over and over again and expect a different result, we know it is insanity, right? Because there was divine purpose in this whole experience that we've gone through. So with some people, it has been tragic. Some people, it's just been hard. But either way, if we just keep hitting this door and think that something is going to change, then we're going to just stay stuck. And we're going to be where we've been feeling for that last year, where we're just standing in stagnating water with no further forward movement. But when we move into this heart and this beingness, we find all these doors that are open unto us. They're open. And there's even really happy greeters at each door. Like, come on. Yes. Yes. You're listening. You're answering the call. You're listening. Yes, that's all. You could keep beating at the door, but today, go find all those doors with all the greeters, all your spirit guides, your angels, your family members that have crossed over. And there's like, yes, here I am. But we can't just keep looking backwards. We have to move forward. And none of us know what that forward meaning, like purpose is. None of us do, except Spirit and ourself. But if we can stay out of fear and we can fall in love with this process and to remember who we truly are. Just remember who you truly are. Divine, light-filled, intuitive, connected, needed, healed, worthy, home, exactly where you're meant to be. Thank you, God, for everything. We have no complaints whatsoever. Amen.
In unity, we know that we're all co-creators of this world, and we're all co-creators with Spirit. The question is, are we willing to embrace this creativity that we have? Are we willing to participate in the evolution of this earth? And we are asking today that you contribute to the mission and the vision, which is unity. And we have all these ways. Although I do want to focus on one thing, just to remind you to, again, please vote for Unity as Best of Boulder, because that really does help our marketing, and it's a really powerful way to get this message of love out there. So maybe you can use that piece of paper as a reminder. So thank you for being here, and thank you for contributing to the vision of Unity.
Steve handles a lot of the nuts and bolts of the ministry here. So he's quite capable of understanding how we are going to build this community. And we've got a number of things in place that are working, and they're going to work and show us the way back into completely filled services and classes and fellowship. With that in mind, all of you that are watching on live stream, we're inviting you from the bottom of our heart to put in a physical appearance on a Sunday. Every now and then, you don't have to come every week, just come once in a while and sit in with us so you can share the energy that's actually here. There's more beautiful energy taking place on this level where people come together than on the screen. It's just like television. It's just not as full, not as vibrant, and not as beautiful. So please show up. We invite you to do so. And to everyone here, let's bring that offering into our hands. Let's bless that offering with this offering prayer. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive, because I give. And so it is.
Lately I've been noticing how much I've been blessed with people to love, some peace of mind and happiness. It makes me want to pass along this love I've received as a way of giving thanks for what's been given to me. I've got a strong heart. I've got a strong love. And I'm ready to use the gifts I've been given to make this world a better place to live in. Ready to use the gifts I've been given to make this world a better place to live in. I used to have a lust for more that bordered on greed, till I looked around and saw that I had more than I need. I thought I had to have it all before I could share, till I realized what's mine to give has always been there. I've got a strong heart. I've got a strong love, and I'm ready to use the gifts I've been given to make this world a better place to live in. Ready to use the gifts I've been given to make this world a better place to live in. I may not make a difference that the whole world can see, but if I can show more kindness, that's what matters to me. I'm changing on the outside, finding gray in my hair, but the difference on the inside is that I don't care. I'm losing my desire to be what I'm not, and I've got what I want now that I want what I've got. I've got a strong love. Sing with me, stand up. I've got a strong love. Here we go.
is uniquely yours, something that is like, if I had one thing, one treasure from the kingdom of heaven living inside of me, what is that treasure from the kingdom of heaven that I, with my name, with my holy, beautiful name and my holy, beautiful life, my holy, beautiful presence and my holy, beautiful skills, what is that treasure in me that's been given to me, that one thing that I can give, that I can give? Think about it, just feel it for a moment here. What is it? And turn to someone and sing this. I'm ready to use the gifts I've been given to make this world a better place to live in. I'm ready to use the gifts I've been given to make this world a better place to live in. I'm ready to use the gifts I've been given to make this world a better place to live in. I'm ready to use the gifts I've been given to make this world a better place to live in. I'm ready to use the gifts I've been given to make this world a better place to live in. I'm ready to use the gifts I've been given to make this world a better place. The kingdom of God, the kingdom of heaven is flowing through all to live in.
Thank you, band. You guys are always amazing, just amazing music. We want to let you know that we have prayer partners available to you. If you're facing a challenge or even a joy you'd like to share, you can just stay seated in the sanctuary following the service, and they'll come and find you and take you down to our beautiful meditation room and mirror the light that is within you and bring you back into this homeostasis, back into this wholeness that you are. And afterwards, we're going to have a discussion group at the back of the sanctuary back here. If you want to discuss this sermon further, you can sit back there and have a sharing back there. And then we have refreshments in the fellowship hall, and go get some food and some coffee, and then come back to the discussion group and have a chat. We're going to go with I Release and I Let Go, and then we'll sing Let There Be Peace on Earth. Here we go.
I release and I let go.